No one on Earth knew that in exactly 14 minutes, everything would change. The sky looked normal. The sun was calm. Cities were full of noise. Cars moved, people talked, and life went on like any other day. No one felt danger. No one expected what was coming. Far above the planet, beyond the clouds and satellites, something massive waited in silence. A fleet. Not small. Not weak. Thousands of dark ships floated in perfect formation. They had no lights. No sound. Just cold metal and power. They were watching Earth like hunters watching prey. Inside the largest ship, a commander stood still. His eyes were fixed on the blue planet below. "Primitive world," he said. "They will fall in minutes." The fleet was ready. They had destroyed hundreds of planets before. This was just another mission. On Earth, everything still felt safe. In New York, people crossed busy streets. In Tokyo, trains moved fast. In small towns, children laughed and played. The world was alive. But one man noticed something strange. Dr. Ethan Cole sat alone in a quiet lab. His computer screen suddenly flickered. Signals appeared. Strange signals. He leaned forward. "This is not normal," he whispered. The patterns were too perfect. Too organized. Not human. Not natural. His heart started beating faster. "They are here." Before he could send a warning, every satellite around Earth suddenly shut down. Screens went black. Phones lost signal. Airplanes lost contact. Everything stopped. For a moment, the whole world felt disconnected. Then it happened. The sky changed. At first, it looked like shadows moving across the clouds. Then cracks appeared in the air itself, like space was breaking apart. And from those cracks, the ships came. Huge. Dark. Silent. They filled the sky in seconds. People looked up. Some dropped their phones. Some froze. Some started to run. But there was nowhere to go. The ships did not wait. From one of them, a bright beam of light shot down toward the ocean. It touched the water. And then, the ocean vanished. No explosion. No wave. No sound. Just empty space where water once existed. Ships nearby tilted as the water disappeared beneath them. Fish, boats, everything was gone. People watched in horror. No one understood. No one could explain it. Fear spread across the world like fire. Inside the alien command ship, the commander showed no emotion. "Begin Phase 2, he ordered. Another ship moved forward. This time, the attack was not physical. It was something else. Something deeper. Suddenly, every human on Earth felt it. A voice. Not in their ears. In their minds. Cold. Heavy. Powerful. "We are your end." People fell to their knees. Some screamed. Some cried. Some could not even move. It felt like the world itself had spoken. Governments tried to respond. Military systems activated. Jets were launched. Missiles were prepared. But before anything could reach the sky, every weapon system shut down. Just like that. Powerless. The aliens had full control. Dr. Ethan Cole watched everything on his screen. "This is impossible," he said. Earth had defenses. Secret ones. Hidden systems built for unknown threats. But none of them were working. Or, maybe they were not active yet. He quickly opened a locked file. One he was never supposed to touch. His hands shook. "If this is real, then we have one chance." He pressed a key. Deep underground, far below any city, something old received a signal. Something that had been sleeping for a very long time. Back in the sky, the alien commander looked satisfied. "For minutes," he said. "Then this world belongs to us." The fleet moved closer. Shadows covered entire cities. Humans could do nothing but watch. But far below the surface of Earth, a system powered on. Lights flickered in a dark chamber. Machines older than any modern technology began to wake up. And something else, something not human, opened its eyes. Back in his lab, Ethan stared at the screen. A new message appeared. Not from the aliens. From something else. One simple line. Defense protocol, activated. Ethan took a slow breath. "They don't know," he said softly. Up in space, the alien commander smiled. "They are weak." But at that exact moment, one of their ships suddenly lost power. Just for a second. But it was enough. The commander frowned. What was that? No one answered. On Earth, nothing had changed. But something had started. And the aliens had no idea. That they were no longer in control. 14 minutes had begun. And somewhere, deep underground, something ancient was now awake. The alien commander did not like surprises. His eyes narrowed as he watched the flicker on one of his ships. It was only a second, but it was not normal. "Report," he said. The control officers moved quickly. Screens lit up. Data flowed. "Temporary system loss," one of them replied. "Cause unknown." The commander stayed silent for a moment. "Scan the planet again," he ordered. Full spectrum. The fleet obeyed. Invisible waves passed through Earth. They scanned oceans, cities, mountains, even deep underground. At first, everything looked simple. Human technology was weak. Their weapons were basic. Their defenses were almost nothing compared to the Empire. But then, something appeared. A signal. Deep below the surface. Not natural. Not human. The officer froze. "Commander, we are detecting something." The commander stepped forward. "Show me." The screen zoomed in. Far under the Earth's crust, there was a structure. Huge. Ancient. And active. The commander's expression changed for the first time. That should not be there. On Earth, Dr. Ethan Cole was watching the same thing. His screen showed the underground system coming alive. Lines of code moved faster than he could read. Energy levels rising. Systems connecting. It was working. After so many years, it was finally working. "They found it," Ethan whispered. He knew this day might come. That is why the system was built. Not by modern humans, but by something older. Something powerful. In a secure government bunker, world leaders sat in silence. Panic filled the room. "Our weapons are useless," one general said. "They shut everything down." "Then what do we do?" another asked. No one answered. Then a screen turned on by itself. No one touched it. A symbol appeared. Old. Strange. Unknown. And then a message. "Do not interfere." Everyone in the room froze. "Who sent that?" someone asked. No one knew. Back in space, the alien fleet began to shift. Ships moved into attack position. Energy weapons charged again. "Continue the operation," the commander said. "This changes nothing." But deep inside, he was not fully sure anymore. Suddenly, another ship lost power. This time, longer. 3 seconds. The ship dropped slightly in orbit before systems came back. "Commander," the officer shouted. It's happening again. The commander's voice turned cold. Find the source. Now. They focused all scanners on the underground signal. But the deeper they scanned, the less they understood. The structure was not just a machine. It was something else. It was alive. On Earth, strange things began to happen. Lights flickered in cities. Old machines started working again. Devices that were broken for years suddenly turned on. People looked around in confusion. What is happening? They asked. No one had answers. Ethan watched as new data appeared on his screen. The system was not just defending. It was learning. Adapting. Preparing. This is not just a weapon, he said. It's something more. Then his screen changed again. New message. Threat level, high. Response, active. Ethan felt a chill. What are you planning? In space, the alien commander saw something he did not expect. Energy readings from Earth were rising. Fast. Too fast. That planet is powering up, an officer said. That is impossible, the commander replied. But it was happening. The blue planet below them was no longer quiet. It was waking up. Prepare full strike, the commander ordered. If they have defenses, we destroy them first. The fleet aimed their weapons at multiple points on Earth. Major cities. Military bases. Unknown underground locations. They were ready to fire. But before they could, every alien screen went black for 1 second. Just one. And in that moment, a signal reached every ship. Not from their system. From Earth. A message. Simple. Clear. Cold. You should not have come. Silence filled the command ship. The officers looked at each other. No one spoke. The commander slowly clenched his fist. This world, he said quietly, is not what we thought. On Earth, Ethan leaned back in his chair. For the first time since the invasion began, he felt something different. Not fear. Hope. Because now he understood the truth. Earth was never unprotected. Humanity was never alone. And whatever was waking up below them was ready to fight. And the aliens were already losing control. The alien fleet did not wait any longer. Fire, the commander ordered. At once, beams of energy shot down toward Earth. Bright lines of destruction cut through the sky, aiming for cities, bases, and deep underground targets. People screamed. Some closed their eyes. Some prayed. But the beams never reached the ground. Something stopped them. Mid-air, the energy slowed, then froze. Like time itself had paused. For a moment, everything was still. Then the beams bent. Not down, but sideways. They curved like they were being pulled by an unseen force. And then they shot back up. Straight toward the alien ships. Impossible, one officer shouted. The fleet tried to move, but it was too late. The redirected energy struck multiple ships at once. Explosions filled the sky. Silent, but deadly. Several ships lost control and drifted away. Others flickered as their systems failed. The commander stood frozen. What is this? No one answered. Because no one understood. On Earth, people looked up again. The same sky that brought fear was now fighting back. Dr. Ethan Cole stared at his screen. His hands trembled. It's reacting, he said. The underground system was not just blocking attacks. It was learning the enemy, and using their own power against them. This is not defense, Ethan whispered. This is war. Deep below the Earth's surface, the ancient system continued to wake. Huge structures moved slowly. Energy flowed through tunnels that had not been active for centuries. At the center, something watched. Not with eyes, but with awareness. It had one goal: protect Earth. In space, the alien fleet began to panic. Multiple ships damaged. Weapons not responding. Navigation unstable. The commander slammed his hand down. Regain control, he shouted. We are the Empire. We do not lose. But even as he spoke, another ship went dark. This time, it did not come back. It simply stopped. Floating in silence. Dead. The commander looked at the planet again. This was no longer a simple conquest. This was something else. Send ground units, he ordered. If the surface is the source, we destroy it directly. Several smaller ships broke away from the fleet. They entered Earth's atmosphere at high speed. Burning trails followed them as they rushed down toward a major city. People on the ground saw them. Dark objects falling from the sky. Some thought they were missiles. Others knew the truth. The invaders were coming closer. In the city, chaos spread. Cars crashed. People ran. Sirens filled the air. Then the ships landed. Hard. Cracking streets. Breaking buildings. Doors opened. And the first alien soldiers stepped out. Tall. Armored. Not human. Their weapons glowed with power. Without warning, they fired. Energy blasts hit buildings. Walls melted. Streets broke apart. People had no chance. Or at least, that's what the aliens thought. Because something else arrived. Not from the sky. From below. The ground shook. Cracks spread across the streets. The alien soldiers stopped. What is happening? One of them asked. Then the ground opened. From beneath the city, something rose. Not a machine. Not fully. It looked alive, but made of metal and energy. A guardian. Ancient. Powerful. The alien soldiers aimed their weapons and fired. The blasts hit the guardian. But did nothing. Not even a mark. The guardian moved. Fast. 1 second it stood still. The next, it was in front of them. Its arm lifted. A wave of energy exploded outward. The alien soldiers were thrown back. Their armor cracked. Their weapons shut down. Some tried to stand. They failed. The guardian did not stop. It moved through them like they were nothing. Silent. Precise. Unstoppable. Within seconds, the entire ground unit was gone. Destroyed. Back in space, the alien commander watched the feed. His face turned cold. We are losing units, an officer said quietly. This cannot be happening. The commander said nothing. Because deep inside, he knew. They had made a mistake. A huge mistake. This planet was not weak. This species was not alone. And whatever was protecting Earth was far beyond anything they had faced before. On Earth, Ethan looked at the live data. More Guardians were activating. Across the planet. Hidden for centuries. Now rising. Now fighting. They were waiting, he said. Waiting for something like this. Then his screen showed something new. A countdown. 10:32 remaining. Ethan stared at it. What happens when it reaches 0? No answer came. Only silence. And in space, more alien ships began to fail. One by one. Like something unseen was pulling them apart. The Empire had come to conquer Earth. But Earth was fighting back. And the invaders were no longer in control. The alien empire had never faced fear before. But now, it was everywhere. Inside the command ship, alarms would not stop. Red lights flashed across every screen. Systems failed one after another. Commander, we are losing formation. Navigation is not responding. Energy levels dropping across the fleet. Voices overlapped. Panic spread. The commander stood still, but his silence was no longer calm. It was heavy. Stabilize the fleet, he said slowly. All units, regroup and prepare final strike. But even as the order went out, only half the ships responded. The rest, drifted. Dead. Uncontrolled. Around Earth, the battle had changed. This was no longer an invasion. This was survival. More alien ships tried to fire. But every attack was blocked. Or worse, turned back. One massive beam aimed at a continent. Before it reached the ground, it split into thousands of smaller lights. Then vanished. Like it was erased. Commander, an officer whispered. We cannot hit the planet. The commander's eyes darkened. Then we destroy what is protecting it. He pointed at the data. Target the underground system. All remaining ships focused their power. Deep scans locked onto the source. The ancient structure beneath Earth. Full power strike, the commander ordered. Now. Energy gathered. Brighter than before. Stronger than anything they had used. A single attack. Enough to destroy a planet. The beam fired. It cut through space. Straight toward the heart of Earth. On the ground, everything went silent. Even the wind stopped. Dr. Ethan Cole watched the screen. No, he said. If that hits. He could not finish the sentence. The beam reached the surface. And then. It stopped. Not blocked. Not slowed. Just, stopped. Like it had hit something that did not exist. Then the impossible happened. The beam, disappeared. Not reflected. Not absorbed. Gone. Completely erased. Inside the command ship, no one moved. What did we just see? One officer said quietly. The commander did not answer. Because for the first time in his life, he did not understand the battlefield. Below Earth's surface, the ancient system had fully awakened. Massive energy flowed through it. Its core pulsed like a living heart. It was no longer reacting. Now, it was attacking. In space, one alien ship suddenly twisted. Metal bent inward. As if invisible hands were crushing it. Then. It collapsed into nothing. No explosion. No debris. Just gone. Another ship followed. Then another. The fleet began to break apart. Not from outside attacks. But from within. Commander. Ships are collapsing. Something is inside our systems. We are losing everything. The commander clenched his fists. Cut all connections, he shouted. Go manual control. But it was too late. Whatever was attacking them was already everywhere. Their weapons. Their engines. Their core systems. All compromised. On Earth, people watched the sky change again. Alien ships flickered. Some vanished. Some fell apart. Others simply went dark and drifted away. The fear that once filled the world was slowly turning into something else. Hope. Ethan looked at the countdown. 5:12 remaining. What is this system doing? He asked. Then a new message appeared. Threat elimination, in progress. Ethan's breath slowed. It's ending them. Across the world, more guardians stood tall. Watching. Not moving. Like their job was already done. Because the real fight was happening somewhere else. In space. Inside the alien fleet. The commander looked around his ship. Everything was failing. Screens. Lights. Controls. Even the air felt heavy. "We are the Empire," he said quietly. "We do not fall like this." But his words felt empty. Another officer collapsed as the system around him shut down. "Commander, we cannot stop it." The commander looked at Earth one last time. That small blue planet. So simple. So weak, or so they thought. "We were wrong," he whispered. Outside, his fleet was disappearing. Ship by ship. Like they were never there. The timer continued. 3:01 remaining. The war that was meant to last hours was ending in minutes. And the Empire had no way to escape. Because this was not a battle they could fight. This was something else. Something older. Something far more powerful. And in just a few minutes, everything they built would be gone. The silence in space felt different now. Not calm. Not peaceful. Empty. The great alien fleet, once powerful and endless, was breaking apart like it had never existed. One by one, ships disappeared. No explosions. No last attack. Just gone. As if something was erasing them from reality itself. Inside the command ship, the lights flickered weakly. Systems were almost dead. Only a few screens still worked. The countdown continued. 1:47 remaining. The commander stood alone. Around him, his officers had stopped moving. Some were unconscious. Some were simply staring into nothing. Fear had taken over. For the first time in his life. He felt it too. "We controlled galaxies," he said softly. "We erased civilizations." His voice slowed. "But this." He looked at Earth again. "This is not a civilization." On Earth, people were still watching the sky. The giant ships that once blocked the sun were now fading. Some turned into dust-like particles before disappearing. Others simply blinked out. No sound reached the ground. But everyone could feel it. The end of something huge. Dr. Ethan Cole sat in silence. He did not celebrate. He did not smile. He only watched. Because he knew. This was not just victory. This was something bigger. The screen in front of him showed the final phase. Threat elimination, 92% complete. He leaned back slowly. It's finishing them. Deep underground, the ancient system reached its highest level of activity. Its core glowed brighter than ever before. Energy flowed in perfect control. Every alien signal was tracked. Every ship was located. There was no escape. This was not revenge. This was protection. Pure. Cold. Absolute. In space, the commander made one last decision. "Prepare emergency jump," he said. His voice was weak, but clear. "If even one ship survives, the Empire will remember." The remaining crew tried to respond. But nothing worked. The engines were dead. Navigation was gone. Even their emergency systems were no longer theirs. "Commander," one officer whispered. "We are locked out." The commander closed his eyes for a moment. Then opened them again. No anger. No pride. Only understanding. So this is how it ends. The countdown reached 0:39. On Earth, the sky was almost clear again. Only a few broken ships remained. Falling slowly. burning as they entered the atmosphere. But they were no longer a threat. Just ruins. Ethan's screen changed one last time. A new message appeared. Final sequence initiated. His heart slowed. This is it. In space, the command ship began to shake. Not violently. But deeply. Like something was pulling it apart from inside. Cracks formed across its surface. Light escaped from within. The commander did not move. He simply watched. The timer reached 0:10. The entire fleet, what was left of it, froze. Every ship. Every signal. Everything. Stopped. And then. A single pulse spread out from Earth. Invisible. Silent. But unstoppable. It passed through every alien ship. Through metal. Through energy. Through everything they had. And in one moment. They were gone. All of them. No debris. No trace. Nothing. The sky was empty. The countdown reached midnight. On Earth, silence filled the world. People looked up. The invasion was over. Just like that. 14 minutes. That was all it took. Dr. Ethan Cole closed his eyes. They came to conquer us, he whispered. And they never understood where they came. His screen showed one final message. Threat eliminated. Then, slowly, another line appeared. System returning to dormant state. Ethan leaned forward. Wait. But it was already happening. Deep underground, the ancient system powered down. Lights faded. Energy slowed. The guardians across the world stood still. Then sank back beneath the surface. Hidden once again. Like they were never there. Only silence remained. Only Earth. Safe. For now. Ethan looked at the dark screen. His reflection stared back at him. They were watching us, he said quietly. Or protecting us. No answer came. But somewhere, deep below, something still existed. Something that chose to sleep. Something that could wake again. Because Earth was not just a planet. It was something more. Something ancient. Something guarded. And humanity was only beginning to understand it. Far beyond the stars. In a distant part of space. A signal flickered for a brief second. Weak. Broken. But still alive. Then it vanished. Like a warning. That maybe. This was not the end.